Can't stop me.
I'm telling you fools that I got nothing left to lose. Broken and bruised, black and blue, still on the move. And I'm showing the world I still got a lot more to prove. Now I'm coming out, swinging for your throat to ring. Standing there bleeding, yeah, you know what I bring. You know what I mean? Dark when the bell is rung, cause it's a little too late now to get me run.
Get up and run.
You're broken every part of me. I'm putting it up in down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. You tears to calm before the storm. I was born for more, now you got me ready for war. Remember my name, everybody out of my way. Back up or get knocked out, this ain't a game. Cause I never stay down when they push me around. See the world stand up when they give me the crown. Now it's go time, do or die, dead or alive. You can try to kill me, but I will survive.
I will survive.
You're broken every part of me. I'm putting everything down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. No, you can't stop me. 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 Can't stop me. No, you can't stop me.
I'm bloodied and I'm beaten down. I keep rising higher, 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 higher.
You've broken every part of me. I'm putting everything down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. Can't stop me, no, can't stop me.
What's up, everyone? How y'all doing today?
Hello, how are you?
What's up, Don?
What's going on?
Not much.
Do I have audio? All right.
Yes, you have audio.
Go, bro.
Oh, okay. I forgot. For some reason, like that song is so loud on my end, I like turn everything down and I couldn't even hear myself. All right. Welcome everybody. If not previously stated, we are the Ale Train Fighters for your local or weekly news into all types of geek culture, whether it be video games, movies, science, etc. As always, our names aren't popped up for some reason. Oh, I'm Don, if you guys can't see.
Let me fix that.
AKA Spazmaster Flex. Long story.
And I am Athen.
Dave's not here, man.
Oh, it should be there. Why is it not showing it? It's supposed to be showing our names.
Dude, I have the technological quotient of a mason brick, so
There it is.
you're not going to get any help from me on that. So.
There we go. Nice. All right. Let's see. What would we like to talk about first? All
I don't know.
right. So this came in from last week. I don't really have an article for it, but Zack Snyder's trailer for the Justice League, the Snyder Cut, dropped last week, I believe.
Mhm.
Did anybody get a chance to see that? It's due out next month on HBO Now. Supposedly going to be 4 hours long, one supercut of a movie. The new trailer dropped, and it actually looks pretty badass. I mean, from what the original movie was compared to what they're showing now, I mean, I'm actually kind of excited about it. But then again, I already know how director cuts work, because with Batman v Superman, I didn't like that movie. I didn't really like that movie on the theatrical cut. But then when I actually saw the director's cut, like the extra footage that actually cut out made a more cohesive movie, and everything like made more sense when they actually dropped that.
Well, it always does with the directors, because the director has the best vision, and then it just gets it just gets kind of ruined. But yeah, no, I bet it'll have a boatload of like hooks for other, or like cookies for other movies, and yeah.
Right. So according to CNET, Snyder Cut's going to come out on HBO Max on March 18th. This came out, I guess, last Friday. Yeah, so it's going to release on the HBO streaming service in Central Europe, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and Finland. And it's going to come out on HBO Go in Asia, all on the same day. So the biggest thing about this is, like, yet again, HBO is releasing another, what would have been like a blockbuster movie, right? Where they released Wonder Woman, they are now going to release this, which we're going to talk about next. Mortal Kombat's getting released on the streaming platform. Then again, I think we talked about this the other week, how HBO's coming out with all these movies and not, being stingy and waiting for movie theaters to actually open up before they release these movies. They're just like, all right, we got them already made up. Let's go ahead and release them on our app, and we'll do it this way. I mean, I think they're doing both, though.
Because, like, the movie development team, the companies that make the movies and all that stuff, I totally shat right there for some reason. The companies that make the movies,
right?
They don't necessarily make that much more money by them being in movie theaters, do they? That
yes, they do. Yeah, they make a lot more money.
Like, how is that though? Why is it getting royalties from the theaters that are playing it?
Well, it's not just that, because all right, so you're looking at right now you have limited availability for movie theaters, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to wait for theaters to actually open up. But then you also have people that are on the streaming service, right? So you have to actually have subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have, all right, so let's say the price is $15, right? You need one subscription to watch it in your household. So that's one set of $15. And you can watch it, let's say, a family of four. So you're missing out on $45 extra dollars per household. Sure. Right. If a movie ticket was also $15, right? Mm-hmm. But that's you've also got levels of watching a movie. I mean, you can watch it like standard. You could also watch it in like whatever special Dolby Digital surround sound theater, or you can watch it in IMAX, or you can watch it in a theater like an AMC theater where they've got like those nice cushy reclining seats, or there's some theaters that will also serve food in the theater as well. So you're missing. So the theater banks on concessions, right? Mm-hmm. And what happens is that when a movie is released in the theater, on X amount a week, depending on what week it is, depends on what percentage of profits go to the theater and what profits actually go to the studio, right? Let's say on week one, it's like a 90-10 split between the studio and the theater, right? Mm-hmm. But the longer that the movie is actually in the theater, the more the theater gets those proceeds. Because then let's say the week two is going to be 80-20, right? And let's say week 3, it's going to be 70-30. So theaters bank on that movie staying out for longer, but you're also missing out on profits from that entire family going out and seeing the movie that you could, because you're banking on each single ticket. Right.
Mhm.
And let me jump in on that. I think we need to speak on that from an interpersonal philosophical standpoint. I think the family theater experience needs to make a comeback. So I think movie theaters need to drop the prices just enough to entice, like family packages and stuff. Like, let me give you an example. When I go to a grocery store, I never use the self checkout. A, because I'm not getting paid, and B, because if you use the self checkout, it creates an incentive for the self checkout to replace the person. There's nothing wrong with chilling at the house. I know there are insane situations, but we're kind of losing our sense of community and the ability to interact with each other. And I think we should get back into getting out again and out into the movie theaters where we meet and talk to other people so we can keep those skills, sharp. So I'm all for the movie theater experience as far as just interacting with other people, because we need that. So I think from a philosophical standpoint, that's a good thing. I think maybe if the movie theaters brought prices down and created family packages that are actually semi-affordable from just an interpersonal standpoint, I think that would be a good thing. So there's my Willie Nelson pot brownie moment. There you go.
Yeah, but we're also in a time of quarantine rules and social distancing and a pandemic. So the least amount of people that will touch my groceries, the best.
Oh, I understand that, but we've got to get to the point where the pandemic is a manageable thing to where here's the thing. I agree with you, but there's still that interpersonal skill that we need to keep, exercised. And I am a hermit. I get that, but even I know that I have to get out and deal with people, and at least, granted, I'll fail, but I've at least got to try. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but thanks to technology, somebody like a recluse like me, I don't have to deal with anybody unless I really want to. Yeah, I'll definitely go on that self-checkout because I know I could be way more efficient than whatever 16-year-old that's bagging my groceries or whatever.
Oh, I get that, but reclusiveness is not. It's good in the short term, but you got to still exercise that interpersonal skill, and I think we need to not neglect that just to cater to our own personal, fears about it. I hate people too, but I realize it's like working out. You got to maintain that muscle memory. And that's part of the reason we have so many problems in communicating, because we're not really developing that skill.
No, we have problems because you can't get away with stomping people in the face when they start running their mouth.
Well, it goes back to that saying, the civilized men are more discourteous because there's no fear of getting their skulls split as a general thing. So yeah, I acknowledge that, but
right.
Yeah.
Anyways, as mentioned before, with the Justice League trailer coming out, we've also got the Mortal Kombat trailer that just dropped when did it drop? Sunday? Saturday?
Yeah.
Sunday.
No, from last week.
Okay.
I think. This happened either right before the show last week or between the last show. Let's see. So the Mortal Kombat 2 or the Mortal Kombat reboot trailer is dropped. With MMA fighter Cole Young, who seeks out the Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies in Outworld in a high-stakes battle of the universe. I'm pretty sure everybody knows the general plot of Mortal Kombat. It says release date to happen on April 16th. Also streaming on HBO. So I actually got a chance to see this trailer, and I'm pretty excited because this one looks way better than the 90s version.
The 90s version was only good if you were a kid at the time.
Yeah, but then again, that's also saying same thing with Street Fighter and even Super Mario Brothers, and that movie is a atrocity.
I don't know. Street Fighter and Super Mario Bros. Those weren't even good as a kid. They're just good as a like nostalgic value now. Like how campy and cheesy was it?
No,
Right.
they suck. They no. I'm old enough to remember the '80s and the '90s. No, I want to projectile vomit even now watching that, just seeing that crap. So no.
Right. So they've actually got I don't know. I've never heard of director Simon McCoy, but they also have, but actually for writers, they've got Greg Russo, one of the brothers that did the Marvel movies like Infinity War. They've got like two of the writers for Ed Boon, John Tobias from the actual game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so Greg Russo and Dave Callahan did the screenplay, and then you've got like Oren Uziel and Greg Russo again that also did the story. So Greg Russo is actually in this, but looking at it, they've got like some actual big names in here. I mean, big names as far as those that would be put into a martial arts movie. What's actually nice is that they've got a good Asian cast. Even though it is tied to a martial arts movie, which is kind of like a step back, but just for these type of actors to actually get some recognition and get some work, speaks volumes, because considering you had like what, 2 Asian people in like the first Mortal Kombat movie, and now you've actually got like a strong cast where you've got like Hiroyuki Sanada, you got Joe Taslim, you've got like Ludi Lin, and you've got like Chin Han and Max Wong. You got like Japanese, Chinese, and like Korean actors coming together for this movie, which, I mean, over in general, when we're just talking about like minorities in cinema, you know, whether it be like Black, Latino, or Asian, for them to actually get good work nowadays is undercoming, because I think the Black community is now recently, within the past few years, actually getting more recognition in cinema, where you've got like all Black cast and like a Black director and like Black writers, where you've got that in Jordan Peele, or Spike Lee's always done that. Like when you've had like Get Out, and you've got Black Panther, and you've got all these movies which are focusing on that. I mean, just to see anybody get some work that's, you know, not what Brad Pitt in The Mexican or Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai, or, you know, one of these types of movies. So I mean, I think this speaks volumes, and I like the cast. I like the trailer. Did you guys get a chance to see the trailer at all?
No, I did not actually.
We could play it if we muted it, because I think we only get flagged on audio and not video, as long as it's not nudity. But we would get it for violence. I don't know. If you guys are watching, don't flag our video. I'm going to work something out. Athen, can you hit us with a story real quick while I figure this out?
All right. Let's see. Let's talk about this one. All right. So there happens to be a new trend on TikTok that experts.
Is Tic-Tac a thing?
What?
Is Tic-Tac a new thing? I mean, I know I'm old, but damn.
Something like that. All right. So, but experts warn against a dangerous TikTok trend, which can cause scarring to your privates. So, an expert has given a warning against TikTok trend for sugaring, which she says can cause burns and scarring on your private parts if not done correctly. An intimates expert has issued a warning against the dangerous TikTok trend, which can cause. Why are they so redundant? Jesus. The social media platform has seen tons of users posting videos about sugaring, with many of the short clips going viral. Sugaring is usually carried out by a professional in a salon and is a way of removing hair from the body. Beauticians pull roots of the hair out with the use of a sugar gel, which binds the hair together so it's easier to remove. However, many people have decided to try and do the technique themselves at home during the coronavirus lockdown while salons are closed. When done correctly, sugaring can cause less irritation than traditional waxing or shaving. However, one expert has warned that it could do more damage than good. Stephanie Taylor, who is intimate health expert and managing director of Kegel 8, said people should think twice before opting to try home beauty treatments while on lockdown. Said some women and some men have taken to waxing their legs and armpits using the sugaring technique, while others are trying it out on their pubic hair too. The expert continued telling The Sun, sugaring, which involves mixing sugar and lemon with boiling water to create a sticky solution that will pull hair from the skin, can cause severe scalding to the sensitive skin in your intimate area if the temperature of the water is too hot when applied.
Oh man.
This is why we need a Thanos snap, dude. This is why we need Thanos.
So they're basically like what? Making like superheated sugar water or like a lemon caramel, and then they're just like applying it on them. Oh man.
Why don't we just use Gorilla Glue and get it over with? I mean, damn.
Oh, I mean, first we got like Gorilla Glue as hair product, and now we're putting caramel on our junk so we can wax it off.
Dude, we damn it, I just lost it. Ah, crap. No.
Performance Sisters is okay. They make pills for that.
And yet, I can't get these idiots to do the upside down chocolate fountain out of your oil pan challenge. I mean, damn. Yes.
I don't think I've heard that.
I just made it up. I'll get an idiot to do that. Don't worry. That's my mission now.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Darwin Award. I mean, this is natural selection. I mean, I can't really get around that.
Take off the warning labels. That will help. Okay. That would, we need a Thanos snap, dude. We really do.
All right. So I got this figured out. If I can show my screen. No.
No? Oh, you're trying to share your screen? Hit the share
screen. Oh, there it is. The bottom. And screen 2.
How long have you guys been on, and do you have whiskey?
Not today. All right, here we go. All right, so I've got this muted so we don't get flagged. But so if we could try and do commentary on this. So I've seen this trailer. So this is pretty much Jax coming in after like Sub-Zero. I think commentary is Sonya Blade like telling this new character Cole that they went after him, and oh, what do you know? They have superpowers. So that's the new character made up just for the movie, just so he's pretty much just an exposition piece. So they have a reason to explain all this stuff.
Okay.
But cinematography looks great.
It does look pretty good.
Right? Then we got like Raiden, Shang Tsung there. Glimpse of Scorpion. Here we go. Hiroyuki Sanada as Scorpion. Just straight up murking people.
That's pretty awesome.
Right? I made sure not to play the Red Band trailer, so. Kano apparently is good. There's Liu Kang. We got Jax, Kung Lao. I can't remember his name. Max Wong. Good shot of Raiden. Sub-Zero again.
Well, on the bright side, it's not that 90s crap that we were forced to.
Yes.
Yeah. I still want projectile vomit. It's like a bad techno video that goes on way too long, you know?
Right. Oh, this scene's actually pretty good. They show a good fight between Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
So is Sub-Zero the actual main?
Boom.
Or no?
Do what?
Is Sub-Zero the actual main villain in this or no?
Oh, no. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's always Shang Tsung's going to be the main villain, and then whoever's going to be his like pawn.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much is left of this? Oh, they director said that they wanted to get the fatalities in. So fatalities are going to be a thing, and they're actually going to be, video game gruesome.
Nice.
Of course, rated R. If you guys didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
In order for it to be a good one, it would have to be.
Right. So what do you guys think?
I think it looks like it's actually going to be pretty damn good. I'm
Right.
very interested. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's an upgrade from the first one, so we'll just leave it at that.
Right. Let's see. Speaking of reboots, Diablo 2 has been resurrected, and it's announced for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. We talked about this the other week, but apparently a gameplay trailer dropped of the new Diablo 2 rework. So it's been mentioned that this game was going to get a rework. It's not like it is a remaster, but it's actually going to play like the classic game, where it's a over the top dungeon crawler with sprite animation. And it's going to play almost exactly the same. It's just graphics are just going to be completely overhauled in it. And I think Diablo 1, Diablo 2, so much better than the third one, and I just like that it's got that same feel. So they said that. So the issue was, I believe, when Blizzard remade Warcraft 3, they completely broke the game. So there was way too many bugs. They were supposed to like rework all the cinematics, and they didn't even do that. And then what Blizzard did is that they made the re-release completely take place of the previous one. So like any user-based setups that you had, like all that data was just like overwritten, right, on Warcraft 3. So this Diablo 2 rework is going to be a separate entity from the second one. So
okay.
You'll be able to I don't know if you'll be able to import your character. I'm pretty sure there will be a way for that. But anything that you have set up in the original game, if your computer's still able to run it, won't get overwritten or won't get corrupted on this new game. Let's see.
I was going to say, as far as the Warcraft 3 being redone, I mean, out
Right.
of all the Warcrafts, if they wanted to redo one anyways, I would have said Warcraft 2 would have been the one they should have done.
Right.
I didn't really like Warcraft 3 that much.
And they also said that like you can change between like new and old school graphics, and you can also they actually added a new character, which is a rogue, which is I guess like an assassin base, because I think what was the range character before? Like the was it a ranger?
I think it was a ranger, yes.
All right, so this one's a rogue, so it's melee and it's range combat. So I'm going to share this one again here. So there's the remaster of graphics between old school and new school. I mean, it's not actually that much. I mean, yeah, it looks better than the old one, but looking at it, I mean, it still plays like the original.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is great, because Diablo 3, when they like streamlined it for consoles and like pretty much nerfed the entire game, like really pissed me off. So, I mean, I think it looks good.
It
I'm just
does
going to
look
leave
really
this up here.
I'm liking that. So,
Right. Ooh, there we go.
It's
like-
the reason I want to get me a decent gamer laptop or a decent system so I can do stuff like that, you know.
I mean, to play this game, you shouldn't need anything that powerful. I mean, I was playing on like a computer from back in the day, so it was like early 2000s, like late 90s. I was playing, so like a computer that was like almost 25 years old was able to play this game.
Damn.
So any decent computer now should be able to play it.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Right. Let's see. Speaking of games, let's go with. All right, all right, Athen. This one's more up your speed because you like survival games. New survival game called Valheim has drawn over 400,000 concurrent players, breaking its own record yet again. It actually broke PlayerUnknown's Battleground, so PUBG, and it's only been out for a few weeks. And this is a pre-launch title. I think it's like #1 on Steam right now, and it had like over a million players within the first 2 million players in the first 2 weeks.
Yep, they sold 2 million copies in the first week actually of it being released.
Right, and then just like I think like the first week it was like #3, and I think right now it's like #1.
Mm-hmm. It's actually still pre-released too. It's not even
yes for like the next year. So it says like a peak of 410,990 players were logged on according to Steam and this was like this past Friday. And if you guys don't know, Valheim is a Viking-based open world survival game, but it doesn't, from what I've seen, it doesn't play like Ark or Atlas or like one of those Minecraft-based survival games. It almost plays like an adventure survival game, not like I can't think of like a good reference, like something to compare it to.
What about Skyrim?
No, not that type of RPG either, because I think it's third person. At least everything that I've seen.
Up to 10 people. So, and it's like, and think of more of a game like The Island or Green Hell, kind of that type of survival type game, survival action type game. It's, and from what I've heard from it, and because I have been doing a little bit of looking into it and all that stuff, it's similar to like Atlas in the sense that, you know, you do have open world ship combat and all that stuff, but it's all PvE. It's not really a PvP based game because it's a co-op type thing. You can have up to 10 players that play. There's no swimming mechanic in it as of yet. They have lots of plans that they're going down the line, but it still looks like it's just going to be just a small co-op type game, which kind of pushes my interest in it kind of away a little bit. I mean, if they'd open up some sort of like aquatic type part, you know, open up the ability to swim, and they have expansions for the next basically year lined out.
Right.
And it's only a 5-man team of people working on this game. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me see if I can pull this up. And let's go here. Get rid of that. So as you guys can see, it does have like a very unique art style. There's like a third person right there. I mean, for like a pre-release or like an early access game, I mean, this game actually looks, I mean, it looks pretty nice.
They have some polishing to do. You can tell some of the gameplay videos and all that stuff. There's some polishing that needs to be done, but it's in pretty good status. There
was some ship sailing there for you, Athen.
Mm-hmm.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, build an actual community or like a castle. Yeah, and I mean, they said that. I mean, this game does have bugs, right?
What game doesn't?
Right. Yeah, especially for this pre-release. And I actually think like was it this game or it might have been another one, but they said like there was, I want to say it was this one, that there was a bug where like it would completely like erase your game file if like you alt F4 the game.
Oh, that's cool.
That would suck.
Well, like your data would just get corrupted and then you would just like lose everything. It was either this one or it was like another one.
I'll be back in just a second.
Right.
That's when you could really get people. People don't really fall for it so much anymore. back when people were like, how do you open up the map? Oh, Alt F4.
Right. Got him. But yeah, I was actually. I was looking at this game. I mean, I'm not keen on like survival games, but like this one didn't have the same feel as the other ones. But then again, it's a trailer, so it can definitely be misleading.
So,
you know,
like I said, what I've seen from some of the gameplay I've seen and just hearing people talk about it, it's not going to have the same feel as like, an Atlas or an Ark would, because it's not the massively multiplayer type thing. It's a, up to 10 player co-op survival game. So
right.
In that,
but it's also like the interface too. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. And I really haven't done too much research into it to seeing if there's an actual like survival mechanic, with eating and drinking. With most survival games these days, those are pretty standard. So I'd assume there is.
Right.
And like, I don't know. What do you mean by the interface is different?
All right, so you know how like Minecraft, Atlas, 7 Days to Die, those games are like first person, or in Conan, they're like first person. They basically play the same way. This one is third person, and so this one doesn't look like it plays that same way. I mean, just not like as a player perspective, but also like interaction with probably your with crafting, inventory management, and questing throughout the world. All that looks different from those games.
No, in Atlas and Ark, I've always played in a third-person perspective because I don't like the first person on it. So I've always changed it to third person. But I don't know. I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah, but then again, this is a trailer, and it's like, am I really going to gamble? I mean, I guess I could do my research and like watch people stream it and see how they play, and then base my opinion off of that. But then again, it's like $20 for an early access game that's like still buggy. I mean, I could also spend $60 on a Ubisoft game and it be still buggy. So, but but like the popularity and like the reviews that we've gotten off of this game, I mean, it's still I don't know. I mean, it looks good, and if 400, like over 500,000 people, I mean, they can't exactly be wrong.
I mean, I think it would be a good game to get a few friends together and like stream, the progress throughout the game, like right now get to in game in it, and kind of as they release updates and expansions and all that stuff throughout the year, kind of check up on that and all that.
Yeah.
But that would be, getting 3 or 4 people at least together and have them be on at least once a week to play the game,
Mm-hmm. So speaking of games, and a multiplayer aspect, so anybody, I know Athen, you'll remember this. So No Man's Sky, the big failure that it was,
yep,
where lawsuits were taken against the game for false advertisement, has been worked and updated, unlike Anthem, and they pretty much said it's like Pokemon Space with this new update called Companions, and it allows you to adopt an alien pet. So, No Man's Sky received another update titled Companions, which lets players adopt and breed alien companions. The Companions update launches. It launched on the 17th, and it lets players tame, breed, train, and even speak to the creatures that they encounter. No Man's Sky has been long known for the intimidating alien creatures that inhabit the game and on their procedural planets, but this update will let players interact with them on a deeper level. Explorers can adopt creatures as sidekicks for their interstellar adventures, and tamed beasts can be trained to scan for resources, mark out hazards, provide light, hunt dangerous fauna, find settlements, excavate buried treasures, and even mine for materials with their own shoulder-mounted mining lasers. Once a companion is nurtured, they will also lay eggs incubated by the player. And so you can actually breed these animals.
They're kind of copying Atlas and Ark now at that point.
Yeah, but No Man's Sky needs it.
Yeah, I mean,
But it looks like you can. I mean, but it looks like there's more interaction with these creatures than in Ark, right? Where you can actually task your animals to help you out and like grind out for materials and scout ahead instead of just using them as like a form of transportation.
yeah.
Right.
So
So let's mute this, pull this up, and so here we go, more alien aspect of it. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like it basically turns it into like Pokemon.
I mean,
I've seen that game. That game actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and it looked cool, but it was nowhere near what it was meant out to be.
yeah, they lauded it as like all this extreme, awesome, new, like this world is huge and massive and procedurally generated and massively multiplayer, where you can actually play with and interact with other people. But then it comes out, oh, the way they built the game so big, you'll never run into another player. And it's like,
Right?
so you're in this massive universe with other people, but completely alone. And
Yep.
none of the planets had any of the features they were explaining. It was just a huge flop. And even
Yeah, and you're like grinding like the entire time.
Mm-hmm. So,
Which
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it looks now it's like it's more towards what they wanted to.
Well,
What
they really need to do is just develop some kind of transportation technology in the game. Yeah.
No, I mean they've had it when the game launched. They had like these players like tried it out. They had they had like two players go to the exact coordinates as each other, and then they weren't able to see one another at all.
That's weird.
So it's like even though you're supposed to be able to interact with anybody, the game didn't allow you to. Because if like you're going to the same location as somebody else and then like, they're not there, then it's like okay, so the game was like a giant flop. They made so many promises and they just did not deliver. And this looks more towards what they actually wanted. However, as a PC player, I'm actually I don't know. I need to spend the money and get Star Citizen, even though it's still in. Even though they're still in beta, they're constantly updating it. You know that it's a work in progress. It's not a full release, and it looks like this. It looks like this trailer that we saw, No Man's Sky, but like on crack. It's like fully customizable ships and like proceed. I mean, talking about cities that are like the size of planets and like full interaction and like so that game I'm actually more interested in, but it's like I don't know, I just haven't like committed to spend the money on it.
They crowdfunded millions of dollars, didn't they?
Oh yeah, like millions, and it's all crowdfunding, and then like the developing company actually takes the money and puts it into the game instead of just pockets it and saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna work on it," right? So,
I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm spoiled by Skyrim, and I would love to see like I'm just gonna get a PS4 and don't they have Skyrim for PS4 as well or no? Because I'm spoiled ass rotten for Skyrim because I could just
just get yourself the PC that will be able to play it indefinitely.
There's that, and then I mean it's also at the same time you realize Skyrim is holy shit that's 15 years old.
I don't care.
Not that long. 10 years old. But what I'm saying is like with all the awesomeness that you have from Skyrim, there are games out there that give you all of that. So it's like a lot of especially these survival games nowadays. A lot of these survival games are taking lots of cues off of like your Fallouts and your Skyrims and putting them into their game, as well as a lot of like features and functions from like Minecraft and putting them into the games. Like I was saying, like 7 Days to Die is going to be one, but you don't have a lot of NPCs in that. I mean, that's the one difference about a lot of these survival games. There's no real NPCs because you have other characters, but there are some there. So
Yeah, but Bethesda games play like Bethesda games, right? So those survival games aren't going to play the same way as Skyrim. I mean, your only other
as a loyalist, I'll just own it now and be done with it.
right, but I mean, the closest thing that you're going to get is Fallout.
Yeah,
and God, I still haven't beaten it, but the Outer Worlds, I mean, that plays like it as well. Which I don't know. I sunk like, I don't know, 12, 20 hours in that game, and then I just like gave up all of a sudden.
What I want,
I'm getting like real bad at that.
What I want,
maybe I'm just getting old and senile.
What I want,
yeah. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
What I want is a game that's like a mix between The Sims and Minecraft, but like massively multiplayer. That would be awesome.
Yeah, one thing I will say with Fallout, as far as their like zoom and sniping mechanics was not Skyrim. So I mean, yes, I liked it, but it wasn't Skyrim.
Yeah. Well, that's because but you can play it like that.
You can.
I mean, especially like on Fallout 4 now, but the reason why they did that was just like there's another game that does it. I don't want to say it's SOCOM. Oh, it's called XCOM. Anyways, so those games had that the Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4 had that VAT system because Fallouts 1 and 2 was a top-down exploring, like dungeon crawler, right? It wasn't a shooter.
Let me confess, I did love the hell out of some Fallout New Vegas because every time I hear Big Iron on his hip, it's like I gotta find my damn Fallout game. It's like
right.
And then flying seagulls or flying pelicans. I ran so far away. Every time I hear that, I gotta play Vice City. Yeah,
right. But yeah, so that, I mean, that's the whole thing about that mechanic. It's like a throwback to the original game, and so it's like Fallout 4 didn't need to put that in there. Because they streamlined their system to where they can actually make like combat easier, but it's a throwback to those games where combat wasn't your thing, right? Where they would have, because it was like a top-down perspective, and combat was like really hard. Has anybody played any shooters? Anybody remember any shooters from like the 90s on Super Nintendo or like Sega Genesis, where it's a top-down and it's like, yeah, they were hard. Right, they weren't side-scrolling games like Contra or Metal Slug. I mean, these top-down ones, I remember. I
was all about the side-scrolling, dude.
Yeah, and those games were like great because you can actually kill your enemies instead of like hitting a wall and getting lost in the maze, because that's all those levels were.
Yeah,
but so and so being able to quote unquote pause the game in order to take your shots on that type of perspective actually helped. And so, but then again, you know, it's nice to like blast somebody in the face with a shotgun in slow motion and see their brains explode. So, okay, back to movies. So it seems like HBO is making the Last of Us series, and they've casted Pedro Pascal from the Game of Thrones and The Mandalorian, and Bella Ramsey, who played the Little Bear in Game of Thrones. So this comes from Variety. The upcoming The Last of Us series is a adaptation at HBO from the massively popular PlayStation game from Naughty Dog. Neil Druckmann, a writer and creative director for the Last of Us video game and co-creator of the series, confirmed the news about Pascal on Twitter, writing, and there's the other half of the show, stoked to have Pedro aboard on the show. So there's a clip of a tweet, and let's see, the article gets into Pedro Pascal's success with The Mandalorian, Game of Thrones, and even being in Wonder Woman 1984. Bella Ramsey is best known as Lyanna Mormont in the HBO series Game of Thrones. So Variety.
Which one is? What's her name again? Bella what?
Ramsey. She
Bella
played
Ramsey?
Little Bear in Game of Thrones. The little girl that was like the lady of her I don't want to say realm or dominion, but so the Last of Us series was first announced as being in development at a premium cabler back in March, with the show landing a formal series order in November. It's based on the video games of the same name. The series takes place 20 years after modern civilization has been destroyed. Joel, hardened survivors, hired to smuggle Ellie out of an oppressive quarantine zone. What starts as a small job seems to be a brutal, heartbreaking journey as they both must traverse across the U.S. and depend on each other for survival. The Chernobyl creator, Craig Mazin, is attached to write and executive produce the series along with Druckmann. So this gets into who's behind it. None of these names stick out, but they're attached to, like we said, we had a creative director from the game. We had one of the creators of Chernobyl. If you guys caught any of that on HBO, that series was actually really good. Though not historically accurate, but a good visual representation and depiction of the events that took place. So this game is from 2013. They came out with The Last of Us Part 2, last year? 2 years ago?
I think it was last year.
I don't know. This quarantine time travel thing's got, got everything skewed.
So, and the Pedro guy, it's sad to know that if you played The Last of Us 2, he's got a limited time on the show.
Well, yeah, but they can also milk it out. So there's the two actors right there. There's Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. Just want to toss that up there. And if you guys have seen anything about the game, they don't look like the characters at all. So there is a lot of ruckus online, so much about these people being miscast.
I can see him being able to maybe take the role, but she's not anywhere. She doesn't look anything like her.
But that's the thing, and that's like what everybody's arguing about online is like they don't look like the characters from the game, right? Mm-hmm. But then again, what's his name? Who's the guy that plays Spider-Man?
Well, there's three.
Tobey Maguire?
No, the most recent one. Tom Holland.
Yeah.
He's playing Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movies, and he looks nothing like Nathan Drake. Right? Which everybody says Nathan Drake, everybody in the online communities, it's Nathan Fillion, like hands down. Right? And he did like a couple of like web shorts, and he was amazing in those. Mm-hmm. But Nathan Fillion's old and he doesn't really have longevity in a role, and so they're going to bank on a younger character, on a younger actor that they actually milk these movies out of, right? So we get that. But
you don't think
they're still great actors, right? As long as the writing is good, right? The actors are solid. We should judge it off of their work and the production instead of just what do they look like, right?
And honestly, if Nathan Fillion is doing anything, that's going to have longevity, I think he needs to start looking into something else for Firefly.
No, I mean, they tried. I mean, they came out with the movie, and then the movie flopped. And it was, but it didn't make the kind of money that the studio wanted in order to revive the series.
True.
They only got one. Didn't they only get one season out of Firefly?
I think they got two.
Yeah, no, they got one.
One, yeah, it was one.
Yeah,
and then the movie,
and then the movie, in which the movie was completely backed by the fans. Mm-hmm. Where the fans hounded the studio, and there might have been like a GoFundMe, and and the fans got the movie made, right?
Yeah.
But nobody saw the movie. It did not make the millions and millions of dollars needed to revive the series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Do you think there was some sabotage there, or what?
No, I mean it's just we didn't watch it.
It was one of those kinds of shows or movies that like the reason it's got a cult following is because it didn't appeal to everyone, but the people it did appeal to, it's freaking one of the best things ever.
Yeah, it is. Like but then again, I'm one of those, that didn't watch it when it was out. I found it after the fact, and it's amazing. So I'm also like a culprit to it. But I did go see the movie when it was in theaters.
I never saw the movie, but I did watch the first season as a casual fan, and it coming back would be a good thing,
Right.
But you got too many money grubbers who don't want to make good product for the sake of making good product. Maybe take a little bit. There's nothing wrong with profit margins, but being so damn money grubbing to the point where you sacrifice the quality of product just to make more money.
But it's also an investment. You also have to think about the cost it takes to make these projects. And then what is your return? Are you going negative every time that you make it? Then it's not a smart investment.
It's not going negative every time. It's going positive as much as you can, but still making every now and again, making a good project for the long term to say, I'm willing to really pour something into this. That's a personal investment in your fans long term to keep the loyalists around,
I really think it'd be a good like show or something like that for Netflix or something like that to try doing.
Well, get it on the Netflix, get it on Hulu, get it on like a couple of different platforms like that, and that would be a good nice little revenue stream to where they can do that.
Right. Because you actually have a subscription service backing it, because they get money based off of their subscriptions, right? But a studio to put this show on cable television, right, with a whole bunch of other networks, they're not getting the same type of return. They need the viewership and they need the ad revenue live in person, right? Not through a streaming service where all it counts is that somebody subscribed to it. They can watch it whenever, right? So actual TV, you need that live interaction. And these projects cost way more than a lot of people think, right? Like the budgets on some of these shows like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead are in the millions of dollars, right? But also what I haven't caught up with it, but you can see the decline of The Walking Dead. When it's losing the viewership, the show also suffers, right? Your budget's not going to be as high. And what's the biggest thing that those shows spend their budget on? Special effects, right? You're not going to have as many zombies, fight scenes, CGI for those fights, and even like locations. Like the big thing about these shows that you see on network television, where like, let's say you have your main character and he says, oh, I need to talk to this other guy. And what it is what do you get? It's a set change. Something that could have like taken place on like a phone call, a conversation that could have been a phone call is now on a set change. And then the dialogue will be for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then that's like your scene, where you have like all these CW shows like Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, like all these superhero ones. And when you watch it, it's like, 5 minutes of action and then like everything else is talking. You have this talking for the budget, right? You're saving the money by filming these scenes of just conversation. So, but live television, they need that live viewership and they need that ad revenue. And it's different from marketing on, say, movies, because movies, you have the budget of making the movie, which is getting ridiculous, right? But then you actually have a marketing budget, which isn't talked about and is like generally half of the budget of the movie, if not the same exact budget. So, I mean, if you've got like $100 million movie, you're also spending $50 to $100 million in marketing and ad revenue and like getting trailers made and getting the editing done and getting the promotions done, the press tours, flying these actors out to do all these interviews. Like all that money also goes in there. So that adds on top of it. So your $100 million movie is now a $200 million movie. And you need to make that money, but you need to make that money back and more at the box office as your return.
Yeah.
And if you don't see that much of return, then from a business aspect, you're not going to invest more money into that property, regardless of whatever the fans say.
Yeah.
Because if the studio and the investors lose the money, it is not a smart move for them to invest more money into that IP. Because you just have to, I mean, as much as we love, all of us love movies, games, and all these independent properties, it is a business.
Funny thing, the irony with what you'd said that they're not going to keep investing more money into this property.
Right.
You mentioned The Walking Dead. They have another spinoff of The Walking Dead coming out. This one is like a group of teenagers come together and decide they're going to leave their home. It's like a period of time after the whole zombie apocalypse had gone down.
Right.
I can't remember exactly, like 10, 20 years or something like that. And they're going to leave and go out and explore. It came out in 2020, or it was released in 2020. It's like The Walking Dead, The Future, or some shit like that. Let me see real quick.
Yeah, so they're riding on the coattails of the original The Walking Dead. I mean, it's the same thing happens with NCIS. Like, they just canceled, what is it? NCIS New Orleans, and they're going to make an NCIS Hawaii.
Well, that's
like
Y50 ripoff. But
okay, so apparently there's 4 other spinoffs. You got The Walking Dead Torn Apart, The Walking Dead Cold Storage, and then the one I was talking about, The Walking Dead The World Beyond. So
right.
This one,
but those, yeah. I mean, if you're not getting the right viewership, cancel it. But if you know that it still works, just rehash it. I mean, same thing with NCIS. It's like the formula is there, and it's been these procedural shows. They've been known to work. So just change up the cast, change up the characters, the backstory plot, the subplots, and you make something work.
So it says the series
because it's a business.
Set in Nebraska,
right.
10 years after the zombie apocalypse, features 4 teenage protagonists and focuses on the first generation to come of age in the apocalypse as we know it. Some will become heroes, some will become villains. In the end, all of them will be changed forever, grown up and cemented in their identities, both good and bad.
Right. Marty Loomis also adds in, Fear of the Walking Dead. That was like the first spinoff that they had. And that one was, playing around in the universe where it's like, they didn't want to get tied to the backstory and the characters of the Walking Dead. So that was like their first venture. And I don't know. The Fear of Walking Dead came out around the time where I stopped watching. So I don't know. How successful was it? Like, how many seasons did it get? Is it still going?
Which one? Fear the Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Let me see right now. Fear the Walking Dead. It's still going. It's currently in its 6th season.
6th season. Wow.
So
I got bored with The Walking Dead really quick. I mean, it's just like once they start killing off, I didn't like the way they killed off beloved characters just for shock value and excitement value, and the whole no individual is worth more than the team crap, because that could
Well, what's your example of who they killed off that you think that they shouldn't have?
Damn it, what's his name? I can't. One of the main guys. Crap.
You do realize The Walking Dead is also a graphic novel, right?
I understand that.
And they killed off a lot of all the characters that were dead in the graphic novel, right?
Well, and they actually Rick was supposed to be killed off a lot earlier than he was. So was Carl was supposed to be killed off a lot earlier than it was.
Yeah, a lot of people were
well, in the graphic novels, they weren't. I mean, Rick wasn't supposed to die until, I think about the same time. But Carl wasn't even supposed to die in the graphic novel
because his daughter became.
But no, here's the thing. Everybody loves to talk about it's about that balance between creative license and staying true to whatever source that the
right.
I don't know. I mean, it's yes, you have to be exciting, but don't be exciting for the sake of shock value to the point where you piss off your fan base. To where they're like, "What the hell?" When they come out and say, "What?"
You obviously haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. At the last year, I would troll Game of Thrones fans to see how many of them I could. I made it a blood sport. out of trolling Game of Thrones fans to send them into a fit of stroke-inducing rage. I loved watching the melee between the fanboys and the producers of Game of Thrones. I busted out my popcorn and my chicken tenders and my beer, and I just watched that like it was a bad soap opera. It was great.
I mean, yeah, and that last season was horrible. But at that point in time, I mean, you saw what the season prior, and then the way that season was going, even I was like, all right, I give up. I mean, I'm going to watch it just so I can have some closure. But it's like, this sucks. And it's like, I mean, there's nothing to really get mad about. I mean, yeah, I'm completely unhappy. But it's also not like the last episode of Dexter. So...
No, I just Game of Thrones trolling and starting fights on Game of Thrones threads was that was my jam. That was I cannot overstate how pleasurable it was to start fights between Game of Thrones people and just watch them rage stroke out. It was right. It was a thing of beauty. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, but the thing is with that show, up until whatever season it was, when they were going off of the books, was that there was this well thought out plot on these characters, on how they would work, right? Now you've got like The Walking Dead and like all these other show writers, and even the last season of Game of Thrones, where you're like, you've got all these writers and producers now that want to just kill off a character for shock value without looking ahead into the future to see how they can make it work in their favor, right? Because a lot of times now it's like, oh, they kill him off and then they don't know what to do. And then they try to make the wrong character like take their place, but it doesn't really work, because Game of Thrones also went into the politics behind everything, where it's like this person's, well, it's like George R. R. Martin said, like every action has a reaction, whether it be noble or bad, right? So yeah, you could be doing the right thing, but whatever that action is, there is a counter to that. There is a reaction to that. It's not just you do good things, you get good things in return. It's you do one thing, something's going to happen. And so, but then there was the whole political aspect of it, to where these characters' actions and deaths spoke volumes. And there was, there was consequences to all these actions as well, which is what he played into. He didn't needlessly kill off characters just because. I mean, he might have, because it made sense, but like the Red Wedding, if they were there, they were there, right? But there was a reason behind all these deaths.
Yeah. The downfall of Game of Thrones was, in my opinion, that the series caught up with and got past where the books were, so the series had to start kind of making up stuff for it. So that's what I think kind of led to the downfall of Game of Thrones.
And the fanboys were bit about it because they didn't agree with the way the improvised direction that the producers were. And then that's a classic thing. So yeah,
in a way, but I agree. I mean, I can see how it works. However, it needed more time. It was rushed. It was just like, I mean, yeah, they would. So like early on, you would get hints at like these subplots and these undertones of like character behavior. And then like in the last season, all those things were just like shoved down your throat, or it's like, all right, it's happening now, and they're like, it just needed more time. Right. The season was like, what, 6 episodes. So it was super short as it is. They needed more time to flesh out like all these subplots and all the character development.
Yep.
Right. You can't just have like, Rocky just like going from his first fight and then go to his last fight with no training montage, with no development. You need to see this character progress.
Yeah. Well, I can completely, from a writing standpoint, I can 100% appreciate that. Yeah.
Right. And that's what made it great.
I was going to say, on The Walking Dead, what the downfall of The Walking Dead was not so much that they were killing off characters, because people were going to come back, because that was the zombie bubble burst. Like the zombies kind of fell off. So people started getting tired of watching a show that's, based around zombies.
Not even that. I mean, it just got boring. It's like you have a zombie show and like the zombies are hardly even in it.
Yeah.
You know, it like I said, a network show where you save money by having all these conversational scenes. People got tired of it, and it was like all this fucking talking, and then like nothing happens, right? Or you have up the subplot where like Negan's coming, and you hint at him, and then like you hardly ever show him. It's like a Godzilla movie where like Godzilla's hardly ever in the movie, you know, because of a CGI budget, and it's like so yeah, and like it just got, in my opinion, it got boring, super boring, right?
It was the delayed gratification that they just flat out delayed too long.
Yeah, but that's a network show, right? Like I said, they save money by doing these cheap scenes that aren't hard to film, right? You get set up in a location, you set up your lighting, characters have the dialogue, you film the scene, you're good. You don't have to worry about CGI budgets, tracking with green screen, special effects, makeup, like all that other stuff, right? Because then you also have to feed like all those people that get in the zombie makeup as well. You know, yeah, catering is the catering budget on like these projects are like ridiculous. Because everybody's like spoiled now. All right, what else do I have? Let's see. So, all right. Cryptocurrency mining is making a resurgence thanks to the bubble with crypto and Bitcoin and Dogecoin or Dogecoin, I should say.
Doja coin?
Right.
Doja.
So this is ruining things for the PC market, because I think we try to build up your computer, and so graphics cards are taking a hit because of these crypto miners. And the prices of these graphics cards are ridiculous yet again.
A 1070 is as much as a freaking brand new current gen video card.
Right. Like we were so excited that we were going to get like, a lot of people were so excited that we were going to get the 3000 series cards, and they're going to be like so much better than the 20 series. They're going to be so much more powerful. And what happens is that they come out, they're sold out. People are waiting for these companies to re-up. And what happens? Crypto goes up and the price goes up, and this stuff never comes back in stock. So NVIDIA's actually got a counter to this, and they're making graphics cards that are catered towards crypto miners. They're saying NVIDIA's new cryptocurrency mining graphics cards won't impact the availability of GeForce GPUs to gamers. So NVIDIA is making separate cards that are supposed to be better for crypto miners. It's got a new lineup of cryptocurrency mining GPUs called CMP for short, and they won't impact the supply of GeForce cards. These cards are reportedly used in GPUs that don't fit the specs for the company's GeForce graphics cards, and thus were otherwise not going to find much use in the existing lineup. And they've got several cards to choose from, and there's two articles on this, and it's saying that NVIDIA is also making new cards less desirable by affecting their hash rate. So on this article, it says, to help ensure GeForce GPUs and the high and make sure that they end up in the hands of gamers, they've adjusted the specs on the actual cards. So this says 70 odd percent mining again at a lower cost. Basically, they're making like these the new batches of like GPUs less effective in actually mining cryptocurrency, right? And making actual gaming GPUs, these video cards, more catered towards gaming. So you'll hopefully these crypto miners actually go for these crypto cards because it actually does what they want to do. Because these people that like crypto mine, they don't care about games. They're just processing data, right? And if you have a product that can actually process that data faster and more efficiently than what's already out there on the market, then why wouldn't you? And so this change will hopefully get prices back down and availability back up for all these video cards.
And as a refresh on how crypto mining works, they basically have a server rack with a bunch of GPUs in it because they can run. They're using basically the processors on the GPUs as an actual PC processor for the amount of processes that they can do.
Right.
Okay.
So crypto mining is basically, the way it was explained to me was that, yes, you've got like a server rack, multiple GPUs. Some of them not even a server rack. Some of them is just like multiple motherboards laid out and just like GPUs like lined up in series. And all they're doing is like performing like a task, like a process, like a computation or like a calculation of some type of data. And that's all that video card does. And they do it for hundreds or thousands of times over on end. And so these different processes you need multiple video cards for, right? And since like the best video cards that they make are gaming video cards, that's what they have in order to do these processes. So having a new line of video cards, which kudos on NVIDIA for actually, for taking the step and creating a new product to sway, the market on these people that are taking advantage of it, because price inflation on these products are ridiculous right now. I mean, the demand for these things are outweighing the supply greatly, and any other company could just be like, oh, well, that's the price, and then they could just, rake in the profit and not care. But for them to actually come out with a whole new product just for these separate people, just so they can cater to their customers, so they actually have something. It speaks volumes on it.
Okay, a couple things.
Yeah.
That reminds me when I was in Iraq in 07, 08, they were actually, if you could not take your PS3 out of Iraq if you bought it there without a receipt, because apparently they said you could rig 5 PS3s together. It was like they're like supercomputers. You could actually hack into like things you should not be able to hack into, or they had that much computing power. And that's got me wondering. I'm doing some online investing now, and I'm wondering if that should affect my decision to invest in NVIDIA. Because I'm going the uber safe route right now, but I want a little bit of monopoly money to eventually look at Bitcoin and Dogecoin. I don't want to go be like a parasite, like mooch off like what the Reddit users are doing, where everybody just piles onto wherever those Reddit users are doing, a la GameStop. But it's made that's something I've been wondering about.
Well, like I said before, GameStop was an isolated incident.
You think so?
Yeah, because right now everybody's trying to make that whole thing with Reddit and GameStop happen again, and it's not working. They're doing it with multiple companies, and it's not working.
Now, well, you got to ask yourself if that's intentional or just incompetent, whatever, or
it's possible, because that was one of the things where everybody just got on board. Everybody had the same mission, and they made something happen. But they haven't had the right companies not in place, the right factors aren't in place, the environment's not right for that same thing to happen again. And same thing with cryptocurrency. We're just in another bubble, and eventually it will tank again.
Mark Cuban was saying that the GameStop, we'll just call it the GameStop incident, was a game changer, and this is going to become the new normal eventually. Sooner.
You're talking about a rich guy saying, "Oh, the poor actually, tanked a hedge fund."
Yeah.
A rich guy saying, "Hey, poor people made us rich people lose money." It's a game changer.
For it though, he had the attitude. According to the article, he had his attitude that he was displaying was, "This is a good thing."
He's also a public figure.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So he has an image to maintain as well. Yes, he will publicly say, "Oh yeah, it's a good thing for the people, to do like this, to save a company and to make money and like all this other stuff."
Yeah.
But realistically, somebody with that much money that would also be in line, or would also be an investor or a contributor to these companies to make this type of thing happen.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what he's thinking on the inside, right? Yeah, he can publicly say one thing, but I'm pretty sure on the inside, he would also do some shady shit like this to a company in a heartbeat.
Of course. Now, question: would Nvidia? Do you think Nvidia would be a good long-term investment? And I'm right now. I'm looking for that, and I want to generate a little bit of monopoly money to maybe chase the next Dogecoin Bitcoin bubble, because Elon Musk ran his mouth in the like Bitcoin. They bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin stock, and then he pulled I'm just an engineer. What the hell do I know? Bitcoin sucks.
Yeah, because he can get charged for influencing the market.
So he's just
a lot of these, let's call them key players, and celebrities can be hit with influencing the market by endorsing something. So that's why when you see these like tweets or like their comments on them, they're very vague. Like Elon Musk's his tweet when it came to Dogecoin was actually didn't endorse it at all. All he said was like, "Hey, I got like Dogecoin for like my kid or something like that," and then people ran with it. So people are, but you also have people that are like quote unquote deciphering these tweets for a hidden message, right? Yeah, I mean, but that's the other thing, because they can't endorse it and get hit with influencing the market. So they say whatever, like, "Oh, I bought it for my kid," and then people take this tweet and they run with it. We're like, "Oh, if Elon Musk is saying something about this product, well, I'm going to invest on that product because it might be a good thing." And that's what happened. He said something, people took that to heart, and he was able to get the price to inflate.
So I saw a screenshot of like a Twitter, and it was Elon Musk's Twitter, and I think it was his picture was changed to Bitcoin, and there was a status update that said 1 day only and all that stuff, like things like that. I think is kind of what's
but in the message of 1 day only, he's not saying what, buy this, don't buy this, invest in this, or he just the word the word is what it is. I mean, he is very careful on how he's doing it, right? Because also, I mean, he's also one of those people that believe in ingenuity and success and imagination and engineering, and he wants people to be successful, and he wants his company to be successful, right? And so he wants people to think on their own and people to actually branch out and do better, because he looks at like humanity as a whole, and as a community and overall, he wants us to be better. Yeah, he wants us to get to Mars, and he wants us to go out in space. So he wants us collectively to do better. I mean, a small handful of people can't do it for everybody else.
Yeah,
but legally, he can't say, "Hey, invest in this now."
Yeah.
Or you get hit with like Martha Stewart for like insider trading or something.
Well, it's all in trading. Some people are just sloppier than others.
And that is true. Speaking of Mars, didn't we have like a Mars rover the other day?
Yep, Mars rover.
Let's see if we can pull that up. Mars rover landing. All right, New York Times 3 days ago. Oh, highlights from NASA's successful landing on Mars.
Got some pictures and stuff, I think.
Yeah, NASA landed a new robotic rover on Mars on Thursday, most ambitious effort in decades to directly study whether there was ever life on the red planet. And the Mars rover has a Twitter account.
Of course.
A tweet from February 18th. "I'm safe on Mars. Perseverance will get you anywhere."
Oh, wow.
Let's see.
It's like dad bod joke bad.
It was a $2.7 billion robotic explorer called the Perseverance. Carries sophisticated set of scientific tools, bring advanced capabilities to search for life beyond our planet. Perseverance is the third robotic visitor from Earth to arrive at the red planet this month. Last week, that's what it says. Last week, two other spacecraft, the Hope from the UAE and Tianwen-1 from China entered orbit around Mars. NASA spacecraft did not go into orbit first. Instead, it zipped along a direct path onto the surface. Let's see. Controllers at Mission Operations Center, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory near Pasadena, California, received word from Perseverance that it had entered the top of the Martian atmosphere at a speed more than 12,000 miles per hour. The spacecraft was beginning the landing maneuvers that would bring it to a soft stop. So, at least they didn't like face plant it. Because didn't what was it, 15, 20 years ago, we sent like a rover to Mars or like a probe to Mars or like the moon, and like they did the math wrong and they like pretty much nosedived it into the planet.
I think so.
because they didn't do the conversion of like meters to feet or something like that, or vice versa. Yeah, more about people that don't know about Mars on this article, because they like to dumb it down. Not a lot of actual information. There were periodic announcements on spacecraft's progress through the atmosphere, deceleration, heating. Yeah, as it cut through, blah, blah, blah. Basic stuff. And touchdown confirmed.
There you go.
Yeah, so they're trying to. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. What I'm looking at.
I know. I just turned your share screen.
All right, let me do this.
There we go.
Make it bigger.
That's what she said.
Right? Past 20 years, NASA's gradually asked for more complex questions about following the water because of the actual landscape. So they're seeing that there was a shoreline, and I mean, look, this definitely looks like there used to be a river here, and here's like evidence of a delta. And so who knows, right? Because I mean, if everything's, I don't know that much about geology, but
that definitely looks
first
like
impressions, this doesn't look like it was created by wind.
No, that looks like something like a lake or something would have been.
Yeah, like, even right here. So, anyways, I don't know. Aliens, they don't want us to go into space. They want us to stay put.
Can you blame them?
That's why we won't go back to the moon. It's a giant space station. Earth is flat. We're in a dome.
The rover has a helicopter.
All the conspiracies at once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, it's an animation of what they've got.
Yeah, this rover's got a helicopter with it. It's an animation of it.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, it's pretty good graphics for, government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Surprised that they just didn't do like a PowerPoint. We got any commentary on this?
It looks
Go ahead.
It looks interesting, that's for sure.
We were supposed to have
Right.
had
Let me go
pictures that were released too.
Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I think it's like the same. All right, I think it's playing on a loop.
Yeah. Are there any pictures in the rest of this article?
So here's one of the rover itself and the little helicopter.
Interesting.
Right. This looks cheaply made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're looking at, there's like no shock absorption.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the wheels they just look. Let's see if the video will loop back around so we can take a look at it. Mars copter. Oh, leave it to the government to find the perfect balance between engineering and cost.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, and then so yeah, we took a look at the map. So it's landing around this crater, and here's some black and white pictures.
Okay. So yeah, those were the first images sent back.
Right. Which I don't know. I mean, I don't think
like
we'll
it's in the
ever.
desert.
Yeah, we're not going in anytime in our lifetime. So
No.
trying to figure out how to bring back rocks. Why is it so difficult? How NASA get this to work? SpaceX made them look bad, so they had to do something. Trying to be next.
Mm-hmm.
Because God forbid another company does space travel.
Mhm.
Right.
Anyways, all right. So, big science news for the week,
Big science news.
Oh, boy.
right?
Yep. There are other small space kind of things that came out this week also, like Starlink is actually going. I'm hearing that in my area we're supposed to be getting Starlink soon. It's like
What is that?
490 Starlink, SpaceX's satellite internet system, where that beams down. It's like a Starlink. It's an interconnected network of satellites that's supposed to be around the planet, that is supposed to be able to give everyone, even in the most of remote areas, internet for inexpensive. I guess like the initial cost is like $499 for the equipment, and then it's like $50 a month after that or something. So
And it's supposed to work better than satellite TV?
no, this is just internet, just straight up internet.
Yeah, but I'm saying because satellite TV is so reliable, satellite internet should be better.
I guess. Let me see if I can find the website on it. Let's see.
Doesn't Elon Musk, like all the satellites he had? I heard somebody say he had, like, of all the satellites that are in orbit, Elon Musk accounts for about a quarter of them.
He does have a lot of them. So they're talking about low latency, high speed internet. Let's see, where's it at saying how much? Ideal for rural / remote communities. Okay, that was engineered by SpaceX. I'm trying to find where easy to set up. Your Starlink kit arrives with everything you need to get online, including your Starlink Wi-Fi router, power supply, cables, and mounting tripod. You need a clear view of the sky. So Starlink is now delivering initial beta service with domestically and internationally, and will continue expansion to near global coverage of the populated world in 2021. During beta, users can expect to see data speeds vary from 50 to 150 megs and latency from 20 to 40 milliseconds in most locations over the next several months as we enhance Starlink system. There will also be brief periods of no connectivity at all as we launch more satellites and store more ground stations and improve our network software. Data speed, latency, and uptime will improve dramatically. See, that is actually a big thing versus normal satellite internet. Satellite internet is slow as all fuck. Like you're lucky to get like 10 megs on
like
satellite internet. So, and then it's
Pretty sure there's plenty of veterans that can account for that.
It's just like, yeah.
So, and I think it's because that's more. And another problem with like satellite TV, because I used to be a satellite TV or satellite installation tech, so I can actually explain this to you. At most of your satellites are only running off of, I think DirecTV runs off the most, and they run off of up to 5, I think. So, and then Dish Network, they'll run off up to 3, but sometimes it's only 1. So, you're only getting one beam of signal in. So with Starlink, how it's supposed to be is it's a grid of interconnected satellites where they can bounce the signal off between them to be able to get it to your receiver from any angle. Whereas with TV satellites, it's a line of sight type thing only. It's like you set your satellite in one direction, and those 1 to 5 satellites then beam in your signal from directions. So if any of those satellites are obstructed from clouds or anything really, your signal would be affected.
Right.
So,
let's see. Anything else for us?
well, I've got all kinds of stories going on, but
Oh, by all means. Don't make me talk like the entire time.
So, but yeah, another going down. SpaceX released a Starship prototype, the SN10, and they're saying it could fly as soon as next week. This article is from the 19th, so 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So just a few weeks after its predecessor, the SN9 flew high and crash landed. On the Texas Gulf Coast, SN10 could try to improve on that performance as soon as next week. The SN10 and SN9 are the latest iterations of SpaceX and Elon Musk Starship prototypes that the company has been developing in full view from its facility in Boca Chica, Texas. Musk has promised that the next generation rocket will be capable of revolutionary point-to-point travel around the globe, as well as to the moon, Mars, and beyond. So that sounds pretty interesting. It's another one of the spaceships is supposed to be able to take off and land. So
Okay.
be on the lookout for that. There was that one, and then I have there was a trailer released for a Cruella movie, which has Emma Stone starring as Cruella. It's looking like it's a movie that's based around Cruella's part of the story. So Emma Stone's going to be the star. The whole movie is based around Cruella and her point of view of the entire situation from what it looks like. And it actually looks like it will be pretty good. So,
I mean, I didn't see the trailer, but then again, I have no interest to see it. But we already had our live action 101 Dalmatians movie,
That's true.
And who was Cruella de Vil in that one? Was it Meryl Streep?
I think it was.
And I think that iconically, that's that's it. And it's like, who wanted this movie? Really? Of all the characters.
It's like it's. Go ahead.
This is what happens when Hollywood. I mean, what has Hollywood done anything original in the last 30 years? This is just more.
Yes.
Well,
I mean that's the short answer. Yes, they have.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Good.
It's like I'm feeling as though it has to do a lot more with the trend of going towards the villain in a lot of movies. So because you had Suicide Squad and
because Joker was so successful. But then again, that was an actual, a movie with a theme on mental illness, but set in the universe of Batman or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I'll read a little bit about it.
Yeah.
So for her 60th anniversary, Walt Disney Studios is gifting its most beloved villain her very own movie. The Mouse House has released the first trailer for Cruella 101 Dalmatians prequel that explores the early years of Estella DeVille, better known by her later nom DeVille, Cruella. Okay. By her later nom DeVille, the evil Cruella, Oscar winner Emma Stone plays a younger version of the dog-napping villainess, who at this point in her career is merely an aspiring fashion designer in the 1970s London. From the very beginning, I realized I saw the world differently from everyone else, she remarks early on in the trailer, hinting that her career is about to take a very twisted turn. Stone is joined on screen by Emma Thompson, who plays the owner of the fashion house where Stella finds her first job. Needless to say, the two don't exactly hit it off, with the new hire immediately looking to steal the spotlight from her boss, who, for the record, is a Dalmatian owner. In other words, it's a Devil Wears Prada scenario where Stella is the devil. And the movie appears to provide a full account of how she acquires the motive, the methods, and the hair to become the Cruella we later met in 101 Dalmatians. So
Yes, Aaron in comments. Glenn Close played Cruella de Vil in the 101 Dalmatians live action movie, and I got confused with Meryl Streep from The Devil Wears Prada. So yeah, thanks for helping us out there, man.
so
You know,
hard time with that. Go ahead, Mickey.
I half baked watched The Devil Wears Prada once, and it just made me think fashion has nothing to do with fashion and everything to do with the personality of one individual just ramming their vision of what fashion is down another person's throat. I could walk around and like.
Well, I mean, if you're the owner of the company, that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be. It should just speak for itself. And to me, it's like it's all about overbearing personality and less about I don't know. I got turned off and bored with the politics of it all because it was just merit doesn't win out when you have to rely too much on your personality to ram your vision down somebody else's throat. But that's just me.
I mean, yeah. So that sounds very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, and like a lot of it's like that. I mean, even now, there's like backdoor politics with like almost any job.
Oh, I understand that, but you still want to minimize it to make your merit shine over your personality. That's why I like to build engines and stuff because yes, there's personality in anything, but there's a lot more technical stuff to look over and to consider, and it's more of a meritocracy. So
yeah, but then you also have contradictions. Like you also got Apple, which plays exactly into the thing that you are saying are claiming not to like, because everything was aesthetically pleasing for Steve Jobs, and that's why they can take away a headphone jack and then sell it back to you, and then take away a home button and sell it back to you, and take away headphones and then make you buy these Bluetooth ones, and like monopolize and privatize like all these different things based on their products as they have the name. So it's, I mean, the product's like inferior.
I just buy the phone simply because it's I've always said Apple is for noobs and just the technologically improficient, So, but I don't buy into any of that stuff. I get the phone, that's it. I go with the free apps I can get, and that's it.
Yeah, but then you're looking at your personal preference based on the masses on what and how successful the business is. Because I mean, something is working for people to buy up this product.
I don't care about what the masses are doing. I care what it does for me. I'm not worried about the masses at all.
Right, but you also have the success of the company based on the mass populace, right? Same thing with what you were talking about with fashion. Same thing when you're talking about tech. Same thing when you talk about movies. I mean, but it's all subjective because as a consumer market, we can pick and choose what we like and what we choose to value and cherish. Mm-hmm. But the way it works with everyone else and the success of a company, that's why we have all these things that are very subjective that we do like, that we do love and value, or that we watch, and then somebody else might have the same views on it. But you can't also look down upon the success of something because something that they're doing is working, and if you can take something that they are doing and maybe learn from it and turn that around for your benefit.
Well, it's not about vilifying success. It's about questioning the process in which they got to the success and how they treat other people in the process of getting to that success that they want, So,
true. So, yeah, I mean, Hollywood was like one of the biggest things that was like terrible about that. The way that they would treat people, or like sexually assault people, or harass actors and actresses, and I mean, you've got like all that stuff that came out with Me Too, and then
but there's what the Me Too movement turned into, because like any movement can be hijacked and corrupted.
Right.
But yeah, right now my thing is with success. If my book is successful and what I'm trying to do is successful, I want to try to not crap all over a lot of people in getting there, because that'll back to bite me. Because one of my primary mistakes was in the process of defending my contributors, In principle, I was fine about defending my contributors, but the entire bull in a China shop after having snorted a pound of crack approach to defending my contributors,
Sure.
that got me in trouble.
Right.
That's
But then again, if you're impassionate about something, then you know, sometimes you don't think things the most PC way.
You've got to be careful. There's nothing wrong with the passion in of itself. It's like an engine. Passion is an engine. If you don't have the drivetrain and the suspension system and the braking system behind it to properly temper and channel it,
right,
your passion gets out of control and causes you to do stupid things. So it's all
yeah.
Free smoking talking. That's all.
Athen, I've only got like one more article. So, you got anything else?
I've got one other thing, or I got a couple other things, but there was one thing I
that's fine.
kind of want to talk about. So
Okay.
this last week, Facebook decided that they were going to go ahead and ban news in Australia. So,
how about that?
Wait, news?
yeah, news. So
Yeah.
Like information, news reporting. Okay.
like legitimately on Facebook, people in Australia could not see, share news at all on Facebook. So Australians logging on to Facebook to check the morning headlines received a shock earlier this week. There was no news. Don't worry, notable things were still happening and the Earth continued to rotate on its axis. But if you were to check the Facebook page of Australian broadcaster ABC or tried to post a link to a news story from the Sydney Morning Herald, then you might find the page blank or an error message telling you the computer says no. This was no accident. Facebook really has banned all of the news in Australia. So what's going on? And how will Australia cope with its horrifying new status as an island paradise with relentlessly good weather and no one arguing about politics on Facebook? So this actually
island paradise where all the wildlife tries to kill you.
Right? This actually all began as a dispute between the Australian government and Google. In December 2020, the government introduced a new law to its parliament that would create a new media bargaining code that would force designated platforms, Google, Facebook, and the like, to pay news organizations if they want to link or extract snippets of their content. The plan was motivated by concerns that the balance of power between big tech and news organizations was out of whack, with the news organizations doing the hard, expensive work of writing the news, but then the likes of Google News reaping the rewards by aggregating stories. So then when people check the news, instead of heading to the website of a news publisher, they're simply checking out Google or scrolling to Facebook instead. The proposed solution is to tip the scales back towards the news publishers and have the cash-rich tech platforms directly subsidize the struggling news industry by strong-arming them into paying to licensed news content. The way it would work is that the new code would enable publishers to team up to negotiate with Google and Facebook, the theory being that by working together, they can get a better deal, leading to more richly funded news outlets. But that didn't happen, and Facebook said, you don't get to see news anymore. So instead of going on and reading the entire article.
Interesting. I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm also guilty of that. I mean, I just did that. To find like all these articles for the show. I mean, I just Google like, I mean, aside from like all the video game stuff that I have like a source for, I mean, it's like movie news and on Google, or like I'm using DuckDuckGo right now. Yeah, just pull up what's on the news tab through Google, and same thing. Oh, what's on science news? What's on that tab? And seeing what. Just reading the headline and seeing if anything, piques my interest. Mm-hmm. And then maybe if I want some information, I'll follow the article. But you can just, a lot of people, when it comes to like the attention spans for most people, trying to get like as much information in as possible, that's all you need is like headlines, right? Mm-hmm. And if, something piques your interest, then you go through the rabbit hole and then see what else is there. But, it's like they're turning into China, where they're just censoring, information on, and this is all based on money. It's not like it's a scheme to like limit certain information for propaganda purposes. This is like limiting information just because somebody wants more money.
Yeah. Like, okay, you want more money, then you don't get it at all. That's
right.
I mean, that's a bitch move by Facebook, but
What do you expect?
Mhm.
It's
I
Facebook.
mean,
There you go.
it is a private company ran by, Mark Zuckerberg's still the CEO. I think he's like I read something. He's like one of the last OG CEOs for the company that he starts out in. Like everybody else, like sells off their company.
Well, here's the problem with that. You can't have it kicking into you. Oh, we're a private company, but we're about just. The censorship that's going on with the big tech companies right now is
right.
It's getting to the point where when you see, you can't be mad at the backlash when you see how much of it they fomented,
Right.
I mean, I'm seeing stuff on other websites where they're talking about building parallel economies to get around it. And Facebook needs to own it. Twitter needs to own it. Google needs to own it. They've just got it's Animal Farm in real life,
Yeah, but they could also say, "Don't use our product."
But they have such a huge monopoly on everything that they're making it. They're choking out the competition. So damn bad.
It's nearly impossible to get through life at this stage without like Facebook.
Exactly.
It all depends on how you live your life. It is possible, right? So
let's do the possible probable thing, dude.
Yeah, all right. But it's possible, but then you got possible and you got probable, and it depends about convenience, right? Does somebody want to look up another search engine and find their news, right? Or somebody want to not go on Facebook for their news, right? Facebook is easy and it is convenient, right? And if something wasn't working on one platform, I would just go to another platform.
Yeah,
right?
but we've got Google, such a huge platform that has all of it, and they know they've got all of it, and they make it difficult for the other platforms to get everything,
No, it's just like news and advertising and like accessibility. It's not that it's not like Google is limiting a search engine from having certain websites pop up on their search engine. The information's out there. It's like how much effort are you willing to put in order to get it, right? Yes, Google is like a one-stop shop when you've got like your regular search results. You've got images, you got videos, and you got news, and you got maps, and you got shopping, and you've got everything linked into this one site, right? Same thing with Facebook. You got Facebook that also has your groups, the marketplace, and videos, and what other tabs that are on here. I also have like gaming videos, and your Messenger and memories, and you've also got Instagram with their reels and Twitter with their news, and so everything is doing these multifaceted things, right, to be more convenient.
But they're doing all this data mining and selling everybody's information to make it easier.
And we agree to that when we click the little box and agree to their terms.
Oh, I understand that, but that doesn't make it right, And if I can find mark my words, I will start looking for alternatives to Google, and I will be going with that exclusively because here's the thing: providing all those services does not justify all of the censorship.
See, here's a good way to find your alternatives to Google. Like when you Google and then you look through the results, I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10 there's probably a specific site that you're going to pick from. So for me, whenever I'm looking up stuff using Google, I'm usually going to select something from Reddit, or
Reddit's like a whole different rabbit hole.
Yeah,
so
I'm usually gonna go with like Reddit. Sometimes I'll go with like if I'm going gaming stuff, I'll go IGN or Gamers Network. I have certain websites, so in the future, just go to those locations directly instead of going through Google. Yeah. That's why if you look at my browser, I've constantly got freaking 10, 15 tabs open because instead of always going to Google for stuff, I'll keep open tabs of certain things that I use for my search engine.
And then bookmark them. Yeah. When I get my new laptop, assuming it gets here sooner than the day before the day I drop dead, because that damn VA freaking iPad is, they've got 50 plus restrictions, so I can't do anything with that. So I gotta wait for my laptop to get here. Once I get my laptop here, I'm going to set it up the way I want it, like that. Yeah.
Great. But I mean, like I said, it's like convenience. It's like it's out there. It's just like how much you want to work. But yeah, that specific thing where it's censorship when it comes to money. I mean that's just dumb. But yeah, they're within their right to do so. But I mean, it's like I don't know. I mean, it's just like not even like it's not even important to like argue about it. It's like yeah, it's dumb.
Getting their own backlash, and they've got nobody to blame but themselves when these parallel economies that they keep talking about emerge to get around their need to be in control because they're, I don't want to say money grubbers, but I mean, I have no problem being a part of that parallel economy if it means getting some, not having them all up in my business and censoring all the way they do. So yeah, I fully intend to become a part of these parallel economies for some freedom and some,
Right. I mean that's the thing about monopolies is like because we have anti-monopoly laws. I mean that invokes competition. Somebody that thinks that they can do something different and give like a better product.
Well, here's the thing: you can have anti-monopoly laws all day long, but if they're not being enforced properly because the bigger companies are, I don't want to say owning politicians, but owning politicians, and
But that's also on us as consumers whether or not to go for what's easy or go for something that we value.
Well, this is why I'm going to become a part of that parallel economy that they talk about. That's what I fully plan on doing here in the very near future.
Right. But I mean, it's also like on us to like, we are the ones that made these companies successful. Because we choose to use them.
I'm about to become a part of that parallel economy as a screw you to Facebook and Google because I'm just done with shipping their my way or the highway attitude.
Gotcha. We've got 3 minutes left. And speaking of selling information, quick story real quick, unless Athen, you got one that you really want to harp on.
Nope.
All right.
I'm done.
So back to more Cyberpunk news. CD Projekt Red suffers from a cyber attack, and Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077, the source codes were stolen and they were auctioned off online. I'm going to make this quick because we don't have much time. CD Projekt Red, who's known for making The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077, has been targeted for a cyber attack, and hackers have claimed to have stolen internal documents along with the source code for Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher and other games. The company announced on Twitter that they were suspect to an internal systems being compromised, and hackers even left a ransom note. The ransom note was released to the public alongside an announcement that it claims that the hackers have dumped full copies of the source code for these games, and they have access to all the company's documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. The ransom note ends in noting that CD Projekt Red has 48 hours to contact the hackers, or your source codes will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will go down the shitter, according to the article, even more, and people will see how your shitty company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and stock will dive even lower as the note continues. And you can look at CD Projekt Red on Twitter, and they have the ransom note. So, according to this, yes, they were hacked, and this also leads people to believe that there's personal information that have been tied to those games that you may have that may have been compromised. So if you have anything off of those games, pretty much do your due diligence and check to make sure that your information has not been compromised. And we've got less than a minute. So anybody got anything else they want to add before we jump off here?
All right, quick. Polar Knights said Sweet Jesus is the perfect evolution of beers. You, the three of us.
Right.
We do what we can, bro. We're here for you, man. Hey, I love this stuff. This is fun. This is kind of getting me back in the game, getting me out of that old dude curmudgeon attitude. So I'm glad to be a part of this. So I'm enthused. There you go.
All right.
Make sure you check us out on all our social media. I'm going to link the WOHQ group in the comments one last time. Go ahead, check it out there. You can find me, Athen Daily. And yeah.
Oh, we are now Team Evolutionary Beard. There you go. That's what we are. So,
Negative.
not my thing. So there you go.
All right. Anyways, you guys, you can follow us on Facebook at Ale Train Fighters, or on Twitch at 1700 somewhere. YouTube on Ale Train Fighters. Follow Athen on his personal team. Normally manages our accounts. Me, you can find me on my personals at Screaming Hanya for Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I don't stream to Twitch anymore. And meme page for Nourish Me Senpai, and my streaming page on Game With Me Senpai. Mickey, where can we find you at?
Right now, I'm on Facebook, Mickey Severson. I'm on Twitch. I've got an ancient, I got to get back on Twitch and kind of make my presence known there.
All right.
So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I got to get back on Instagram because I was there briefly as kind of a workout guinea pig for in shape guys. I'm going to get back on Instagram eventually. So yeah, on Facebook is Mickey Severson. I'll get back on Twitch and make my presence known there. I'm going to get back on Instagram once all my projects are kind of mashed together, and there you go.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us and hanging out. We'll see you guys next time. Later.
Later.